And 2024 is the first presidential election with artificial intelligence in play. And right now, there are a few regulations about the use of an AI in politics. Last month, the Federal Election Commission decided not to impose new rules on the technology ahead of the election. And joining us now to talk about how artificial intelligence can impact voters is Dr. Patrick Dix with the advisory board at Lone Star College. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. So let's jump right into it. We understand how AI can help create fake ads, but explain the process how AI can be used to target election systems like registration databases and voting machines.
Well, with those voting machines, you can actually use AI to get through the server into the network. What we have to understand is all of those systems are tied into networks. Now, when you talk about voters, we can use AI to generate a false ballot. We have many people now that get their information off of social media, and with early voting started in Texas, you can go to your prospective county or prospective area and see the sample ballot. Just like when I'm in South Carolina, when I decide to go vote next week, I've already looked at the sample ballot.
And what process do states have in order to ensure that voter information is safe?
Right now, the best thing they have in place is some type of cybersecurity. But with the use of artificial intelligence, we have to make sure that information is more encrypted. We have to make sure it's more safe. You're going to have foreign hackers. You're going to have domestic players that try to get into these databases and possibly even wipe out eligible people that can vote. And they can also make it where somebody that has voted once can vote again because the system didn't recognize it.
And I understand that the Department of Homeland Security has designated the U.S. election system as critical infrastructure. So what does that mean, and how does that help me as a voter in this upcoming election?
Just like the power system, just like the electrical system, what we have to realize, we have a big presidential election coming up. These machines and these systems are not only used for the presidential election, they're used county-wise when you have your local elections. And this election system is the only way that people are able to vote unless you use a mail-in ballot or you use some other means to vote. But the thing is, it is critical infrastructure, because if you take down the election system, just like the electrical grid or hydroelectric power, there is no way no one in the United States can actually vote or with the mail-in ballots for it to be counted. That is why it is deemed critical infrastructure.
And folks are using AI to breach election databases. Are these foreign entities or domestic groups?
It could be a mixture of both. We have people out there that want to persuade one group to vote one way, and they want to persuade a group to vote the other way. So you could have your domestic people, you could have your foreign people. Every adversary that the United States has some interest financially or to swing the election in their potential way. But we also have to remember it can be used for local elections, because if you're like us and you live in counties, your local people impact you just as greatly as the presidential election.
Good information. Anything else you want to mention?
I want people to understand that AI is here and it's going to continue to advance, and it's going to continue to make processes simpler, and it's also going to make it to where things look a little bit more different out here in the world. Also, with the robocalls, you remember some months ago we had President Joe Biden called people and told them to vote a certain way or the wrong day. Be on the lookout for that, and be on the lookout for deep fakes. We had that picture with Vice President Kamala Harris in that red communist outfit. We also have to remember many of these things cannot be traced, so when they're on the internet, there is no way to backtrace and track where it actually came from. So just be vigilant on what you're looking at out there.
That's some good information. Thank you so much. We have
Thank you.
Dr. Patrick Dix with us. Thank you so much for joining us here
Thank
on
you.
the KPRC 2 Plus live stream.